Bro, if you can't show up to work, if you can't do the basic things that need to be done, your opinion doesn't count for shit. Sometimes we have a difficult time communicating with our parents or our grandparents, and we don't quite understand their worldview and how they perceive how we are interacting with our world. The reality of the situation is we are dealing with a workforce that is spanning multiple generations these days. In fact, the other day I just hired someone that's maybe 3 times my age, and I'm trying to figure out how exactly to communicate with this person. Or perhaps we have a professor that's only a couple years older than us, and we think that we're close friends with them, but they have a tremendous amount of knowledge that perhaps we want in our head. The reality of the situation is that our perceptions of how people are dealing with their lives cannot be age based. It needs to be individually based because there are 72-year-olds that I've met that live life like children, and there are 15-year-olds that I've met that live life like a disheveled drunk that's 50 years old. So at the end of the day, you really got to figure out, hey, is it my biases about this age that is shading or perhaps clouding my judgment of who this person is, or am I honestly looking at what facts are in front of me and whether or not I am actually seeing the person as they are? On the whole, however, I have been disappointed by many people that are in their 20s recently. And frankly speaking, I was deeply disappointed with myself in my 20s, and I still basically am most of the time, because I realized that the work ethic that once used to be a part of the baby boomer generation, of the millions of people that have created these some substantial businesses all over the United States that have maintained their families, that have maintained their neighborhoods, that have provided legitimate services, that work ethic is kind of missing in our generation. And I think it's by virtue of our education system, perhaps our entirety of our communities telling us that, oh, your opinion matters all the time. Bro, if you can't show up to work, if you can't do the basic things that need to be done, your opinion doesn't count for shit. Like at the end of the day, if you're not contributing to the workforce in a significant way and you're not building your skill sets and you're not working your butt off in your 20s, you're not really going to have the foundation that's required to support a family or to support substantial relationships or to support new opportunities that come up for us. So, 20s, all about work, all about work. I strongly suggest thinking about it that way because we're building up muscle. Now, we also need to get to know ourselves, completely understand that. And when it comes to emotional intelligence, I would say that the older generations are also doing a great job there because they have their foundation of work solid. If we have something that we can derive our self worth from, it's a lot easier to build off of. If we don't have the bare basics of that work in place, it's very difficult to say, hey, my personality functions this way, or my interaction with this person functions this way, or I should have gotten that opportunity because of this merit. At the end of the day, some of the older people that I've met, sure, there's a vast majority of people that are not necessarily all that well off. They didn't make all the best decisions. They perhaps didn't take the risks that they needed to take when they were younger. But the reality of it is, and on the whole, when I meet people that are in their middle class, that are fairly successful, that have good families, good relatives, good siblings around, they tend to be people that carry a tremendous amount of self-worth by virtue of the things that they've accomplished in their life, the amount of work that they're willing to put in. And again, if they've reared children, if any of you are watching this video and you have kids, you know exactly what it takes to make sure that you are keeping your work ethic to a certain level, your emotional intelligence to a certain level, and still making sure to take care of those kids and putting up with all their bullshit. It's a tremendous amount of work to rear children, and that tends to be something that is formative, I believe, in some of the older generations. Many people that are my age or younger, I'm 28 years old currently, do not have those expectations in the next couple of years, and it leads to a situation where emotional intelligence tends to be this thing that's overvalued over IQ. And the reality of the IQ thing is if you don't have a certain amount of raw intelligence, raw work ethic, you're not going to have the genuine skills that are required to be like, hey, I earned that raise. I earned that position, right? At the end of the day, it is so important to value emotional intelligence after you start picking up a real skill, a real ability to execute on something that most people are not familiar with. Emotional intelligence is a secondary thing to me because it's the easier thing for a lot of people to get. Sometimes it's our genetics, sometimes it's the people that we spend time with, our environment. That builds our ability to communicate, that builds our ability to charm people. But when you start moving your way up into the higher echelons of society or the higher echelons of your workplace, that stuff doesn't matter as much. You have more serious conversations about, hey, did this thing get done or not? And really, that's the thing that moves the needle forward in any group of human beings, in any society. The people that have earned the most, the people that have earned the right to be called a leader, the right to be called a king, an emperor, an advisor, are people that can execute. It's about their emotional intelligence because people want to be around them, sure, but a lot of it comes down to their IQ and whether or not they are able to do the task that is put in front of them and get it done in a short period of time. So, emotional intelligence on a whole, how much is it worth? A tremendous amount. I'd say it's half the equation. But the other half cannot be undermined whatsoever. And frankly speaking, I think our generation, 20 years and younger, is valuing emotional intelligence a lot more than IQ. And that's leading to less skills being developed, less risks being taken, and less humility when we enter the workplace and saying to ourselves, listen, I need to build myself up in all of the little things, and I'm going to sit there and take it to the face if I need to the chin, wherever, to learn the lessons that are required for me to become a better, more productive member of society. So hopefully this finds you well. Don't judge people because of their age. There's a lot of people that are older than you that you shouldn't take advice from. There's a lot of people younger than you that you should try to learn from. There is a vast array of human souls to take into account, and it is our job to figure out what our path is when we're moving forward. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you.